How's it going, everyone? It's Sam. Today we're looking at Hyliion, or Tortoise Acquisition Company, or Shell, whatever you want to call it, and Workhorse, because they both had really big days yesterday on Tuesday. And I want to talk about why this happened and the news that kind of came out that has caused them to go up so much. It's really interesting because I think you're going to be a little bit surprised on it. I think it's the best news that we could actually get from Hyliion and from Workhorse. So I'm going to go over that. I also want to show you what I bought this week because I actually bought both of these earlier this week before we had a huge run up. And then I'm also going to just talk about what I think this means going forward and what it means for the stock in general. So if you guys like this, please hit the thumbs up. This is my double upload day. So I've been doing more of these double uploads recently just because there's been so much that's been going on with Workhorse and with Hyliion. I really didn't mean to post another Workhorse video because I posted them several days in a row, but I am coming with a video later today on the dividend stocks that I bought this week, so definitely check that out. If you haven't subscribed, please hit subscribe. We're getting close to 7,000 subscribers, which is awesome. Then also, too, if you want to support the channel and start investing with WeBull, there are links down below so that you can invest with them. If you deposit $100, you get one free stock worth up to $1,650. Also, M1 Finance is down there too. They're my favorite brokerage. So definitely check that out too. If you want to start investing with M1 Finance, it would mean a lot if you use my referral link. So Shell, or Tortoise Acquisition, went up massively today. We're talking a 28% move. This is just a huge, huge move on the day. We also saw Workhorse go up pretty significantly too, right? So they went up about 12 to 13%. And it's kind of interesting because both of these happened later in the day. So afternoon, both of these happened. They were only about 2 hours apart. But as you can see here on Shell, it just went up massively, very quickly. It actually went up over 30% at one point and then kind of trailed off. This was a movement that really no one saw coming. And it's kind of interesting because there wasn't a lot of news on it. I'll explain what that means and why I think the stocks went up so drastically so quickly. But I want to show you what I bought because I actually bought both of these stocks earlier this week. So on August 31, I bought about 3 shares of Workhorse. I bought another 3 shares just a little bit later. I was going to buy right when the market opened. Then it took a little bit longer. So the stock actually went up. So I bought more in the meantime. And then I bought some more once my order actually got filled. And then I also bought $50 worth of Tortoise Acquisition. So not a huge amount of money by any means. But for me, this is, a significant amount to invest just in a week between this and my retirement portfolios, and then also my weekly dividend investing videos and the fact that I'm saving for a house. So there was a lot going on, but I wanted to buy some shells because I haven't bought them yet. And I also wanted to buy some Workhorse. I already have a position in them. I have about 22 shares now. So by no means is it the biggest position that anyone has, but also for me, that's pretty significant to put in an individual stock. I have bigger holdings, but I don't play around with my money, and everything's relative. So for me, I feel comfortable with where I'm at now. I'm bullish on both of these companies, but when I saw this start to run up towards the end of the day, or between noon and 2, it was really interesting. I went on my WeBull app because that's the app that I use to kind of get news. And then also, if I can't find news, I look in the comments. So that's one of my favorite features of WeBull. But I started to look in the comments to see what people were saying. And all I saw were the classic comments like, oh, this is going to the moon. Thank God for this stock and the great opportunity. Like, people were going crazy over the stocks, but no one was talking about what was happening. That is the news that I think is so interesting. So no one was talking about it. There's no news that came out. We haven't approached a merger or anything like that. I didn't even really hear anything about unusual option activity. What I think happened, and I could be wrong, I'm not a financial analyst, I'm not a professional by any means in this area, but what I think is happening is there are some institutions that are buying. So ARK Invest has already invested in Workhorse before. I don't believe they hold Hyliion stock right now, but when these big institutions invest, when they have billions of dollars or even just hundreds of millions of dollars that they're investing, it causes massive shifts in the market price. So right now, Workhorse was a $2.12 billion company with a shift of about 12 to 13%. We're talking a $200 to $300 million market cap move for the day. This is big time, right? So this isn't just some retail investors just happen to buy at the same time. I mean, sure, they might piled on a little bit, but you don't get a 10%, 12% move with no news on a stock that's worth billions of dollars unless really, at least in my personal opinion, there's news or you have institutional investors coming out and buying some of the shares. So that would be just very unusual that just randomly a bunch of people bought Workhorse. There's already been a lot of hype for weeks on it. Same thing with Hyliion. So they are worth about $1.4 billion today. They went up 27, 28%. We're talking a $400 million move or close to it. That is huge, right? So you don't get that, like I said, from a bunch of Robinhood investors just deciding today's the day randomly. And it came on so quickly. So just looking at it here, within an hour, the stock price went up 10%. And then within a little bit more, within another hour, it went up another 10%. And then it went up another 10% in just a little, like half an hour spurt here. So I think that is really from institutions buying in. If one institution starts buying in a few hundred million worth, that would cause these stocks to go up like crazy. Maybe some retail investors are piling on at that point. But I think this is really good news. So the reason I think this is good news, while some people might want to hear news and maybe like Tortoise acquisition is getting closer to the merger with Hyliion or Workhorse is getting the USPS contract, just to see these companies go up with no news, I think is great. The reason is institutional investors are really important for these small companies, right? So they're important for any company, but with these companies, these are a little bit riskier. So these are more speculative plays. We don't really have a good idea for what kind of earnings they'll be able to make going forward. We don't know what kind of contracts they're going to be able to lock down. This is not like an Apple or even like a Tesla where you can kind of chart out their growth, right? So these are companies that are much more risky than an Apple, than a Tesla, than an Amazon. These are very small market cap companies that have a lot of risk reward. So when we see institutional investors buy in, a lot of times that's a really good sign for retail investors. That makes us feel really good that big money's coming in, that these professionals and billionaires are buying these stocks thinking that they're going to do well. And maybe they know something we don't, maybe they don't, but it's something that we really like to see as retail investors. The other thing is, they have lots of money, right? So we can invest all day long, and we personally, most of us can't shift a stock price at all. But if a big institution buys in and it goes up 30%, then another big institution buys in and it goes up another 10, 20%, this can cause your share price to go up dramatically very quickly. So this is something that is awesome to see. Just again, as a retail investor, I want to see institutions buying the stocks right after I buy them. That's awesome. But let me know your thoughts below. Is this why you thought that these companies went up? What did you think about this? Do you think it's just pandemonium? Do you think it's just Robinhood investors? Let me know your thoughts below. I appreciate it. Again, hit that subscribe button if you haven't hit it already, because I'm posting videos every day, sometimes twice a day, and I'm only making it on stuff that I think is relevant and really worthwhile and very valuable. So thank you guys so much for hitting the like button too and using those links below, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.